Family business is a very, very fascinating organizational form for a number of reasons. First, it's the most typical organizational structure in the world. I mean, wherever we go, family business is the dominating business structure. Even in the US, 1/3 of the biggest companies are family businesses. In the rest of the world, there are family businesses everywhere. Second, family businesses have an amazing ability sometimes to survive and to prosper for not only for generations, but for hundreds of years. I mean, the oldest firms in the world are more than 1,000 years old, and they are family businesses. And that is fascinating, that you can both have a family and a business and link them together with all the problems that each entity have, and they survive forever. Third, a lot of people, the family businesses, have a huge influence on a lot of business individuals in societies all over the world. I mean, we estimate even in Scandinavia that 1/5 of the population are members of families where other people run businesses. And if you go to India, emerging market, Latin America, Africa, family business is just really, really important for people, for growth, for economies. And I would say the last interesting thing is that there's so many variations in family businesses. I mean, sometimes they're doing really good, sometimes they're doing really bad. And, understanding these kind of things, when do they do good, when do they do bad, how do they survive successions, how do they cope with next generations who are not really fantastic leaders, that is just fascinating from an intellectual and research perspective. The paper today is about a very interesting question in talking about family firms and non-family firms, and that is, how does the culture of family firms affect employees in the firm? And in particular, there's this hypothesis that employees can be more attached to family firms and therefore, better engage in implicit contracts and ultimately work harder or better in family firms. And that's what we are testing. And interesting enough, we find that in our measure of effort, there's actually 13% more effort in family firms than in non-family firms. That's a very exact number, and of course there's a lot of uncertainty and depends on how we do it. But we find quite clear effects of that family firms seem to induce better efforts than non-family firms on employees. This type of research is fascinating, first of all, because it's something that we only have thoughts about before. And it's been very, very hard to test things like effort or engagement from people working in organizations. And actually, a part of my career I have spent on trying to work to measure the impact of individuals or the impact of groups on organizational outcomes. And of course, the family business is a very important organization. So to understand how the family business culture and the family business structure affect engagement and affect people working there, I think is one of the most fascinating questions at the moment.